There's a new crop of castle building, tower defense combo type games, and Becastled is one of them. How do things work out when you combine city building tropes and the undead horde? Watch on and find out.
My name is Thoraxe, and this is Strategy for Busy People. If you've got a few minutes, I'll tell you what to play.
I'm not sure if it's a stretch to call Becastled by Monopotion Studios a city builder. You definitely have to create housing and keep your people happy, so it checks some of the boxes, but in just under 6 hours of playing this title, I'm not entirely sure it lives up to that tag. The premise of the game is that there are these nightly raids by the enemy, and you have to build up your settlement by day to defend against them. The enemy's spawn point is known in advance, and the enemy will travel along fixed paths to get to the origin point of your castle. It's up to you to put sufficient things in their way to prevent that from being successful. When you first start out, you can't build very much except for some basic resource gathering buildings like a farm and a sawmill to cut wood. There is a decent-sized tech tree of unlocks to give you access to additional buildings and technologies. The game uses hex-ish tiles, and when you first start out, you're in control of 3 of them. You can purchase control of additional tiles adjacent to what you already control by paying resources, usually wood and then some other things. By expanding your territories, you can make your settlement larger and gain access to new resources. One of the pains of many of these games is the random map generation. It's pretty easy to spend quite some time re-rolling the starting map to get yourself a good distribution of nearby resources. Stone is something you need early in the game to start upgrading your buildings, and it's pretty easy to roll a map where there are no good stone options nearby. So you re-roll and re-roll and re-roll again. The game offers a few different map types, and this Castle on a Hill one is a good starting map because the terrain forces the enemy horde to approach your settlement from specific areas. This allows you to build a smaller number of defensive structures early on because the terrain provides some natural protection. There are only a few different types of units in the game. You've got basic archers and then swordsmen, knights, and pikemen. To be honest, the game doesn't do a good job of telling you the difference between the different bladed units. Knights do more damage but have less defense, and then the pikemen have other properties. I generally try to keep a balanced force of knights and swordsmen and didn't end up unlocking pikemen. As the days and nights progress, the enemy gets progressively tougher. Every 5th night there's a blood moon, and then things get really bad. The end game goal is to destroy the 4 enemy towers, which then unleashes the final night battle, which presumably is pretty epic. Overall, the game does a good job of sticking true to quite a few medieval tropes. You can upgrade your ability to build simple fences, to sturdier wood walls, and finally to stone walls and towers. You can build some siege equipment like trebuchets and ballistas that give you the ability to do some serious damage. And you can even install these siege weapons onto your towers to give them some serious range. There is some strategy to the combat for sure. As soon as you can build towers and/or real walls, you get your archers up onto them. Since walls do take some time for the enemy to break through, much like in real medieval combat, your archers can just hang out and pelt the enemy. And hopefully you can defeat them before they break through. Unfortunately for you, the enemy may also have archers in the incoming army, so it's not an entirely free lunch here. As it does cost meaningful money and time to train new units, a particularly bad night of combat can result in you being down quite a few folks and then needing a fair bit of time to train your forces back up to par. Also, it does take time for your inhabitants to respawn, so you do need to be careful not to let too many of your army die in one shot. One of the things that I don't like about this game is the time pressure anxiety that it tends to give you. This is not a laid-back builder-type game despite its cutesy voxel appearance. If you don't basically race to build up your military and defenses, you'll end up getting crushed during one of the blood moons that come up on the regular. Yes, there are other game modes that you can use to enjoy a more relaxed experience, but that seems like it's also not the point of this title.
Before I give my final verdict, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Agree with me? Disagree with me? Or want to see other content? Let me know in the comments below. Want to try this game yourself? Check out my humble affiliate link below. And if you want to support me in making more of these videos, become a patron on Patreon. Your support really makes a difference. The final verdict.
The game has some bugs in the tutorial and other places, but the devs do appear to be mostly on top of updates. There's an active Discord community, which is nice. Fundamentally, this game has a lot of solid pieces, and definitely has room to give you some mileage for your dollar, given the randomized map generation. But the tech tree could use more fun things in it, if I'm being super honest. On my trademark 3-point score scale of avoid, meh, and I forgot to eat, there was beer in the taverns and bread in the bakeries, and this game just barely squeaks out a recommendation because I did find myself wanting to give another run at it despite getting soundly destroyed by this troll. In the end, though, I had had enough of slaying the hordes, so I went to slay some turkey legs instead. I mean, turkey legs are straight up Renaissance fare, you know?